Good evening, everyone. Well, I'm back from vacation. Sorry for the back. People were using the desk, but here I am. So yeah, you can see my couch. So not come back after skipping June because I was out of town. I am back for a live full moon reading session. I started later, but there were things that had to be done before, so and didn't go as planned. But I'm here, so I specialize in ways showing leaders, visionaries, seekers, and creatives, mostly in the realm of helping transitions, in the realm of discovering their dream architect and shedding their eager beaver identity, uh, through through clarifying their desire and purpose and where they are, and eventually, as I build this thing, will help like give space on developing their how. It is all in the name of having a relationship with themselves and what they're creating, with their vision, what they're creating, and using the moments of transition, rites of passage, initiation, um, thresholds as an opportunity for alchemy, basically. So that's basically what I do right now. I'm just doing this work, and at the moment, and one of the types of card readings I do is the live card readings for the full moon. And those who have not seen the other two before, like it goes with this. We mostly start with a ritual, which is getting oriented or get check in and ground, and then we do a ritual of releasing, releasing, and a ritual of receiving. Since this is about what are you releasing, what is being fulfilled, what's showing up, basically for the full moon, and in this case, the full moon of Aquarius. So I will get started, and if you and we'll get started. So we'll start with a few deep breaths, like on 4 counts, 3 counts in, and then 9 counts out. So we'll start with 4 times to settle down, and then we'll get to the rituals of releasing and receiving the card readings and Lectio Divina. So we'll get started. So now let's breathe in 3 counts, 2, 3, and 9 out. Breathe in 3 counts, 1, 2, 3. Pause and breathe out 9. Two more. Breathe in 3 counts and pause. Breathe out 9 counts. One more. Breathe in 3 counts. Pause. Breathe out 9 counts. So if you're settled, in this case, I breathe through the nose and out through the mouth in this one. That seems the easiest. If there's other ways of breathing, that's easier as long as you're going through 3 counts and out counts. That is fine with me. Um, so let's begin. We'll do with a releasing ritual, which is releasing and soothing tension. And it's really just your massaging skull. It's just a basic massaging skull, mostly me because I'm starting to. I had basically swollen gums for my wisdom teeth, and it's affecting my head a little bit. So that's, and you could, there's no right or wrong to do the skull. You do what feels good. Mm, Give a minute, however you want to massage. You can massage the neck, but basically you do the skull massage just to really get to the going. And I'm enjoying this actually, but you can massage it however you want. We'll go for 40 more seconds. Whatever. 10 more seconds. And now we can transition out. Roll one last thing, and then shake your head. And breathe in through your nose, and breathe out through your mouth. You could shake your head if you want, just to orient. Ooh, that felt good. Then another example of a ritual receiving, which is just hum and have the voice vibration be felt in your body. I just learned this. Well, this is very hard to receive your voice, to really just receive your voice and vibration in your voice, just because to see your voice, what it sounds like. So you go like, we'll do this like 4 more times. To just, the deeper you go and just sense how you're feeling. There goes 4 more times, and enjoy it as much as we can. So, and just inhale a bit and hum. Not notice like what's coming up as you're humming, vibrating from your voice. Just let your whole body receive the vibration of the humming. So we will do 2 more times and then we'll get started. So breathe in. Done. Whew. It's just a bit. If you want to keep continuing your own time, you can go ahead. And so now let's start with a clap, and we'll start like do their reading ritual. Starting, we go 1, 2, 3. One more time. It's 1, 2, 3. So anyway, we will check using the oracle card, the Earth card, and we'll see what streamers are present during the full moon. So shuffle these decks. Aquarius. Channel to the highest good. Channel to the highest good. Go to the channel. His heart is good. Moon channel to the highest good regarding this. Oh. Dreams. Memory. Wow. Fertility. This is right. Yeah, this is right. Look what we got. Interesting cards. We got. This one is just in case. We got the fertility from the Illuminated Earth Oracle. This little fella. Fertility with the blue sky and the tree going up, rooted where the womb person holding the baby. And you see the half circles, so you see fertility, then memory. And this person's looking like trying to remember something, and then this looks like a dream catcher. Better. There's also the bird also this person that is like about wisdom, remembrance, learning on the past, getting wisdom and clarity of the past, and then dreams. Oh, this is like a deer, like very colorful, very like it's part of this world, and yet within the deer, it's like a whole new other world. While the deer is just looking around, and then there's also another world in it. This is kind of like a multi-world universe, like layers on layers. So this is read from right to left. This is like this is like I mean images that it's beautiful. Let me feel this out. The energy of it, like it feels right left from right to left. Reading first fertility, memory, and dreams at the end. And This is like seems like expanding your ability to see what's coming to fruition is what's coming up. Like fertility is seeing that there are things coming to fruition already. Now with memory and dreams, like going deepening your past and the daydreams, and then deepening what is possible, like what is possible, what other messages are coming. So there is a lot of like expansion, but in the realm of like what is coming to fruition, or in the realm of like starting where there is things coming to fruition, but that fruition is also initiating more dreams, more images, just more images of basically as things are coming to fruition, going to people's upper limit, the tension of breaking through the upper limit and putting things into physical form, into coming to completion, and the tension coming to that is also igniting like coming deep into your past, into dreams, at different dreams, daydreams, visualizations, pattern picking of other things, and it is calling that this is happening. So the feeling is that really examine where you are. It's what I'm the biggest thing that there is already for something coming to fruition, or in the process of coming to fruition, or some something vital and is coming to fruition, but that kind of is initiating all these other things happening, these other like illuminations, mostly in the realm of illuminations, dreams, messages from other beings, both within your body and outside of your body, as and parts of yourselves. So dreams, illuminations, daydreams, imaginations, and messages are coming up. So this is what is going on right now. So there is like birth of these illuminations, and then feeling that part of it is start as those things are swirling, it's better to start like what do you need, right, what do you want and need, and right now, what do you need right now, what do you want right now, what do you get to do right now, is what I'm feeling. So as this is birthing these things, not all of them are things you need to do right now, not all of them you have to act on, and not all of them are ready to be witnessed yet. This is as well as not all. Well, there is some that both are called for witnessing, and there are some messages or some patterns, like patterns or that you're receiving from spirit, from the environment, from like everyday things, even like other beings within yourself and outside of yourself and parts of yourself that are like sending you messages all day long and giving you information all day long, like in various ways and sensations, what you name it, as the process of these country which are initiating all this stuff. All these things are flying, flying to you, and they're not all necessarily going to go through your head. So necessarily, it's usually due to subconscious or through the body or through other nervous system responses. So, or through so I would say that this is where people are at, is when these all these things, and the only thing I think spirit, I feel like if there is this question that you need to put yourself out there about this moment of like now all these information is like I read this these hits or and things from dreaming, from imagination, from intuition are flying all over the place, from higher recognition are flying all over the place. So the things you actually said, what do you need to nourish your being now? What things do you actually long to do now? And then what do you get to do now? So what do you get to do now? I think that's like the thing to ground yourself, to anchor yourself at the midst of these things. So I don't give advice about this because I don't know everybody's situation. This is a collective reading about the freaking full Aquarius, but this one is more like just tell them to ask themselves. Like Atlas says, what do you need? What do you need to nourish yourself now? Particularly nourish yourself in your relations now. What do you long to do, and what do you long to do or step into now? And final is like, what do you get to? What do you get to do or get to be now at this moment as a result of the upcoming fruitions and the imagine the hits, the dreams, the memories, and things that are coming up as a result of something that is the fruition and the completion that's about to take place. So it's feeling like when this is happening at the full moon is what to keep nourishing yourself and your relations now. What do you long to do and to step into now? And what do you get to do and be now in a soul-led way? In a soul-led way, of course, like in a soul-led, body-led way. So I would say like keep that question right as you are in this full moon shebang here. So this is where you are. Everybody is like all these like things are flying out of the air. And let's see what now tarot buddies are gonna tell us. First row would be what's being cleared and released as a result of the current estuary moment, and what fulfillment and completions are now occurring. So we'll start with what's being cleared and released as a result of this estuary moment of like basically intuition flying out of the air and actually ground yourself with the questions that I just repeat. So spirits. One more shuffle. Let's see. Just start this feeling that yeah, for that's six strength. Hangman up. This has to go down. Yeah. left to completely left to right. Okay, so first you got the Five of Cups. I don't know if anyone can read it, but this is the Five of Cups from the Shadowscapes deck, from the Shadowscapes tarot deck. So you got the little woman standing near the door, near the pool of water with bowls are on. She's holding one of the bowls, but some of the bowls are in the pool and are poured on the ground. So some bowls were full, some bowls were poured or dropped. And then there's fishies flying over the and there's like fishies and fairies flying in this one, very circly and looking into the fish, but not seeing the whole ocean. So it's like then there's the Six of Cups, which is like a girl who is having a nice tea party with all the nice little fishies in the ocean, and is a pretty adorable little girl with all of her fairies and spirits and stuffed animals, real and stuffed animals and fishes, with like the nice glow of the tree and having tea time. There's the strength card. This is very beautiful. This is a very beautiful strength card. Super beautiful. The woman on this card is like putting on her hand on her head and chest, just holding it gently with the lion next to this person, while looking on the cliff with this beautiful landscape, and with the tiger on the orb, and this beautiful landscape of the ridge, and some of the cats are like nestor, and the birds are flying over, and with some incest, and the bowl with birds near the incest. So and on it, it's just a beautiful, beautiful design card. Like it's the color schemes are like beautiful. And then last but not least, the Hangman. So it's two minor arcana, two major. It's just hanging there, hanging upside down, is in full presence in hanging upside down, basically looking like a beautiful tree, beautiful, gorgeous tree with beautiful tree spirits, and this is like hanging upside down, and it's looking like it's just in the fullness of it. So this is like an interesting energy. So this is like there is the thing I'm sensing is the importance of surrender in this card in the whole deck, reading from left to right. But it starts with processing and transmuting the grief that's happening, losses, breakdowns that are happening, and the emotional experience that comes to the loss. And then following by like Agnasia, and I'm trying to look over like the sixth card on a little bit, because I get the other sixth card is innocence and joys. Like it's the because it's a lot of it's nausea, like inner child. I think inner child was coming like, and then loving the inner child, but also find a way to recontextualize the playful things your child likes into the present. So part of does is releasing in order to get to the strength and to the hangman is to learn to process the grief, find a way to relationship with the grief while simultaneously on your own terms, while simultaneously um, attend to the inner child, but also tend to the sense of play and recontextualize your sense of play and beauty into your life while owning the relationship to the grief and developing some grief literacy of some sort in your life. This is a lot of it. The five and the six is there's a lot of emotional realms that are underneath the surface that are revealing. What you're revealing is two things. One is really feel yourself the free to really be emotionally releasing the need to be emotionally bottled up on issue of losses, the loss of childhood, the loss of time to want to bring joy, but also loss of not, be able to feel. It's this feeling, that feeling like I never had permission to to be in sorrow, to be sad, and it's usually loss of dreams, loss of mostly relationship, dreams, and loss of opportunity. A lot of his dreams, opportunity, and relationships is what's coming to mind. So it's really what's being released is really it's what two things are being released, three things just by the cards. It's being released. What's showing it is this is pretending is to suppressing the grief of loss of the dreams and opportunity, dreams, opportunities, and relationships that you have, and the opportunity for the kind of childhood you want or time of joy that you missed out. So there is a grief of pretending to hide that grief. What's all that's you're releasing the need to hide it. But what's also the releasing is this releasing this breakthrough the stigma of of that 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 play is irrelevant in adulthood. That's what's being released. It's released this idea that play is not relevant to the is not a healing and acclimatizing agent to the collective or you personally. That there's releasing the stigma of that. There is a release of stigma away from play and beautification. And that's gotta make sense because I mean the whole year and a half is crap, honestly, for a lot of people. And it not that it was any better before, because there were like things that did got better, but not for a lot of people, and not for a lot of people, and and considering how the looming climate change, the looming things, and the looming of you know many things, as well as a lot of frankly a lot of the spiritual and political change and divisions are being revealed. The divisions within ourselves and of others are revealed. The reality are being revealed. They're being under or are many are feeling or feel like complete failures, and there's this part of all that exhaustion and all this deep contradiction of like why are we are in this muck fuck in the midst of what's supposed to be socially advanced societies, supposedly mindfuck. There is a thread of releasing this thing of destigmatizing play and beautification. There is a movement of that. So there is a release of that beautification and play as not something a serious tool of initiation and healing is initiation and healing. And one and final thing is third that's coming up now that I say initiation is that the release decided that there's no need for initiation in limbos. The limbos is hard to say because I hate, as a Capricorn, I hate limbos. I want to get to the goal now. I get it. I hate that shit. I hate the process of the limbo before the evolution part. I hate it. But the reality is that there is need to release there this idea that initiation and being in the limbo stage as part of the transition to rites of passage and stage of alchemy is not necessary. Like the idea that initiation, alchemy. Now that I remember now, like alchemy, initiation, and the liminality space that we are called to be in before we get to a new cycle, to a new breakthrough, a new breakdown, or whatever your part is no longer to release this idea that we don't need initiation. Oh yes, we do. We need initiation and alchemy more than ever. And it's not something that I no one can teach you how to want that. No one can teach you want initiation. I mean, the only, especially in light of that, most of we know is social freaking social hazing and being held back by either parts of ourselves or our or basically our spiritually sick society of in of insecure attached pattern nonsense. It's really difficult, uh, but it is revealing more that the initiations, alchemy, and the medicine, liminals, the liminality that's part of the transition phase, that's part of the life journey, is not needed. And this one was revealing, no, we need to release that bullshit right off because we need more people to know how to self-initiate and also how to intentionally receive initiation life from life intentionally before life does something to them, before the powers to be does some social hazing on you. They need to not just self-initiate but also know how to be skillful receivers of them as an alchemy, or else someone or something will fuck you. We'll just simply mess with. We'll just simply done with you. And this is something we need to start releasing this idea that we don't need any initiation. I mean, what options do we have? Social hazing. That's social hazing and bullying culture. Because I feel like taking honest initiation and seriously will find a way to address issues of bullying culture. It, that is bullying culture and bullying culture, pathologization, because this is a big one. This is a big thing to release. This idea that there's no need for any real intentional initiation or any things to teach skill of self initiation and be able to be skillful receivers of initiation and in having agency over what initiations we can dance with, as well as alchemy that we want to learn. I mean, I mean, you first of all, the film just revealed that we need both initiation and alchemy and liminality. Period. We need it. We need it. It's calling for it in order for anything to to really, in a good sense, bypass the bullying culture nonsense. That's part of the bullying culture nonsense, the worker bee nonsense. That's part of our culture. The skills of alchemy, we need it, but also part of the responsibility collectively and personally. It especially in order to get through the childhood trauma, the childhood grief, the grief of not the grief of many things, to gain grief literacy for yourself, to have this ability to hold grief in a way that's on your terms, and and collectively, and be a dialectic, and have it be metabolized, is to let go of this fucking belief that we don't need and response intentional and skillful initiations, either self-initiated or be good receivers of initiation, or intentional cultural initiation of any kind, as well as alchemy of any kind. Otherwise, basically basically gonna be at like mercy of cultural programming, of cultural programming, and that the demons and ghosts will and and trauma and the powers to be will do you collectively, do you individually. So that's what's coming up, because part of it, as you are releasing these things, releasing this idea that there's no need to learn initiation ethically and contextually, as, along with alchemy and elementality, that there's no need to bring play and beautification into our lives, and that, as well as releasing where we need to pretend that grief is invisible, and we need to keep it invisible, and as well as the method that there is the thought, so that you can't, you being grieving that meant that you can't have joy in your life, kind of bullshit fuckery that often happens, and that it's not possible to metabolize it well, it, the way that the person can, as we're releasing this, we would get to the place where we can embody the strength card and tap into the energy of the hangman, because we need the energy and the strength card to hangman during these 6 months of the beautiful strength of this compassionate inner strength. That's a pro resilience kind of strength. That's a pro resilience and in the flow and anchored kind of strength of self compassion, but and kindness, but also of integrity, and mixture of integrity and feralness. And while simultaneously being those days in the midst of the space of just being deep surrender, this deep surrender to what matters, and you want to channel these things, but it starts with the shedding and letting go of not the initiation, not keeping grief like down, and grief of wanting a better childhood down, and that play and beautification has no place for initiation or healing, and place of evolution and mastery, like like we need to let go of all that shit, so that we can tap into these things, the energy of the strength and the hangman. So that's, I said, a mouthful right there. Oh, dude, this one wants to talk. I don't know. Yeah, I get. I'll try better to keep down. You know, maybe to be able to, to be able to be in surrender and be like looking for a new perspective. So this is the what's being released. So now we'll go what's being fulfilled during this time. This should be Ace of Pentacles, Four of Wands, Ace of Wands, the Sun. Oh my God! Left to right. I'm excited for this one. And now the energy is just booming in this point. Illumination, right? But in this way. So first is the Ace of Pentacles with the little coin and with a bunch of lizards and little lizards and reptiles and some amphibians just hanging out, looking up the sky, like looking forward to this like journey of the tentacles. And this is like really cute little tentacle right here, looking really cute. Next is the Four of Wands. Oh, this is like lovely. Four little like fonts and unicorns with the fairies on the sun and with these beautiful flowers, like just galloping the way, just moving forward and getting decorated and moving. And so this is a forwarding moving card, but it's a celebration of moving forward. It's a type of celebration. It's a celebration of the spirit celebration. Very bright. The Ace of Wands. This is like starting igniting your spirit, like with the little wolfy friends and hanging out the card with the mushroom and this light on this wand. It's like very initiating the spirit. And it's the sun card, vitality, brightness, illumination, life force, like powering your charging your life force. So this is like really good. So it's like reading left to right. This is like really, really interesting, and I'm trying to look for. I know. I mean, this is very interesting because this is like all that, and that's like clear as day. It's clear as day, like night and day in this case. Oh my goodness, this is really really fabulous. So Ace of Pentacles with the little bird and the green and the yellow and purple and then flowers. The four wands and the Ace of Pentacles and four wands. All this is just like hard like revitalization. That is what I'm thinking. Is honoring what's being revived, revitalization and new birth, new birth. Like the energy of revitalization and birthing something awesome, birthing or starting something awesome, birthing something awesome, starting something awesome. So what's kind of what source will start? Like, it reads from left to right again. And this starts with like the Face of Pentacles. This energy is like, I feel is this is telling me that there's a start of not of tapping into the start of abundance, like sufficiency and abundance, like starting to get the hold of what it means for you, and then celebrating spirit. Let me see. I guess this is one of the things where this is such a good combo, but this is not super clear on. It just says and celebrate initiated, and this is like such an interesting card. Divine wisdom. This is about prosperity and security, growth. So it's like salamanders. This is deeper than I thought. This is just like it's what it's saying is there's an burst of an initiating something delicious. That is basically what I got in. And it starts with like initiating life of pleasure and prosperity and celebrating yourself and celebrating your spirit and yourself for prioritizing well-being and pleasure, as well as that's what I'm feeling. This is like finance, but it doesn't seem this is about like prioritizing collective and personal well-being and pleasure, like starting to take steps and giving yourself space to celebrate that. Celebrate your spirit, and your spirit is celebrating that you're making steps towards any form of tending to material and bodily well-being and pleasure of yourself and your communities around you is what I'm feeling. This is the energy of like body well-being. I mean, it may be biased because I am in that situation myself. Like there's this that going on, which as you are celebrating this that and implementing ways of of nourishing your senses and your well-being and rethinking what it means to be wealth. It is reviving your spirit, tapping into your deep vitality within all your relations, within yourself, within the situation, like as well as recognizing the both, not just the vitality within, but also vitality that is always present in your life. That's present. That is present and that is about to come. The vitality, the wonder, the beauty that is about to come, the sunshine that's about to come, the the gloriousness that's about to come. That's already within you, but it's also within things that are surrounding you. So there is this focus on tending to the bodies, not just both bodies and bodies of others, and win-win, starting with a sense of win-win on what is wealth, what is bodily and material well-being that supports already the spiritual well-being. So there is this call for the vitalistic vitality of attending both spiritual and material well-being and doing actually the challenging work and the ego disillusion work to really have uh, an evolving breakthrough conversation and practice amongst yourselves and people you love about what is mean to tend to the well-being that supports my spirit, and how do I support my spirit also supports the both material and bodily and sensual well-being. Like it's also deep sensuality and material. I was deeping into my sensuality, reorienting a different way of material well-being and bodily well-being, and the work that helps my spirit and how is helping my spirit, my drive, my play a role in a specific kind of sensuality, and that is aligned with me. That's aligned with me and how I need to show up in my relationships, how I need to show up in myself and in other with other beings, with my environment. Like that is so authentic to me, but also that also creates a revitalization in others, that triggers and inspires revitalization in others. Not that you're doing that work for them, but that you just spark that chain of revitalization, that chain of that. So it's right from left to right, and that tend to and celebrating yourself or doing the day to day work of creating patterns and habits and a view and a and a new philosophical foundation that supports not only your sensual and your material well-being, but a way of that is good. Oh, that is aligned with the highest good of both personally and collectively, that through having that in the highest good, it will tend to your spirit and vice versa. That how this tended to my spirit, tended to my healthy relationality, my passion, my spirit will support me in the very kind of aligned way of tending to my sensuality and my material well-being for my body and resources resources that's in the highest good and the common good, personally and collectively. So this is what's calling for, because it's calling for deep vitality both in the body and spirit ultimately, and that in a way that brings us closer to being animated and have everything be animated and be alive and be in aliveness and agency, but also in deep relation in be and having it be of deep joy and gloriousness. So this is like a huge thing about this tending the body and the resources to tend to the body and just get to know it as and sensuality, and give yourself time to celebrate that and allow that to revitalize your soul and nature, uh, soul and passion, and that's aligned with the passion, and that's co-creative. And this is where this is there's a lot about the body and spirit like being nourished, so, and have it be like a thing of like collective and relation revitalization. Like, so that's what it is looking towards, like, to me. There's this huge, because like, look, we got like pentacle, ace of pentacles, then four of wands, then ace of wands, and then the sun. This is, you're ending with the sun, and this is like one of the most positive cards in the deck. Unless it's like glorious vigor, radiance, vibrance, and glory, and the glow, and just liberate your glow. Like, or actually, that's one of my, like, coaches. Like, that's her. They go to that, but liberating the glow and the glow of other people, like the deep glow of others. So as well as like the deep glow yourself, just by being and glow you, or it's gonna create a calling force of that glow in other people. So this is like this is lovely. This is a very lovely, and it's actually deeper than just oh yeah, get sexy and get sexy and just indulge in your senses. So there's more to it than that. It is just to deepen the glow and vitality, and so just deep tap into your well-being and your vitality and your sensuality, and have the practice of that, and practice in a way that nourishes your spirit as well. So the long story short of my ranting, my like ongoing verbal ranting and shit is in this that and this thing is that it's really about the tending to the body from a place of sensuality, from a place of making sure you are there's well material and bodily well-being, and tap into vitality, and and make yourself tend to celebrate your milestones and progress on those things, and remember to do those tending to physical nourishments in a way that also nourishes your spirit, that revitalizes your spirit, that sparks your spirit and the spirit of others, so that you can inherently liberate your glow and your vigor and your energetic power to just glow, and your energetic aura just like whoo. That's going to initiate people to that's going to be an initiatory moment for a lot of people to realize they can do the same on their own terms too, and with people they care about, and not just they care about, and that those people who assumingly that they care about also care about them for their own glow and their own bliss and their transformation. So that's the end of like the set of cards for fulfillment. This is deep and fun. This is a fun section. It's a good, and then the last but not least, like our two little buddies of the moon cards, since they are the moon, just to carry with you for the moon. Let's ask these babies for this. So let's see. Don't let it hustle you back. Do meditate. Oh man. So James took care of you through all this. Okay, then. Just literally, I don't do four on this, but since I accidentally drop it, and it seems like this is a good way to end. And let's just start with like, don't let your past hold you back. That's the South Note message. Take time to breathe out. Meditate confidently on the Moon of Pisces card. That's its opposite neighbor. And then step out of your comfort zone from the North Node. Jesus. So normally I'd do three, but it fell out, and I had this intuitive hit that I need to put this as far as the pile. I need to do better about shuffling, but this works. Um, this works. I this is pretty straightforward. It's basically don't. There's no other way to say this. Like learn to move through your past programming. This is what I'm getting. Move and acclimate your past programming. But as you're doing this, like take time to breathe out and digest all that and all the implications of that past programming. Don't do this through overthinking it like I do. But give yourself the process, and sometimes I find this taking a break and stuff, or meditate on other things. Sometimes some things you don't need to pay attention for. You have to break through this. And process through this and digest. But while you're digesting through this and breaking through and dismantling programming and relearning patterns, like give yourself time to breathe out and digest and pay attention to other things. And as it related to other things, sometimes you could intentionally watch Netflix just because you want to just do other things other than your own problems. Not to get away from them, but to intentionally not focus on them. But as you tend to go away, you can also give yourself that, okay, let's meditate something else and clear your mind for something else. Or bring your mind into something else. But usually meditate with your whole body so that you could have an intentional focus of going to your edge a little bit and to just contemplate and focus on it as you give yourself time to breathe out and distract yourself a little bit. And not just distract yourself, but distract yourself with intention in mind, of course, so that you can give yourself breather space. But actually, and part of this is why it ends with step out of your comfort zone, is because look at what's. And comfort zone doesn't mean like just do. This one, comfort zone, is more like calling for expand of what you understand or know. Um, and it needs to be solid. This needs to be a solid expansion. Like allow yourself to let your soul, let your let the spirit and soul and the spirit of things and the wisdom of the deep spirits, if you're able at that level to help, what are the first step, basically what steps or processes to step into that can thread the needle. The kind of comfort zone is about threading the needle, like threading the needle that can create necessary domino effects for the greater, for your own highest good and for and your well-being. Okay, for your well-being. But I know what to get to the well-being and just be in it now and go to the cycle of it. You have to let things. You have to be intentional. Let to have your soul and intentionally have your soul and spirit lead lead with what steps to take and have those steps that you're taking thread the needle. But in order to be able to hear the spirit, you gotta like break through the past programmings that and internalize isms and insecure attachments and alchemize and the ongoing daily alchemization of that and digestion and transmutation of all that and do it in a way that allows you to give you breathing room and allows you to meditate and contemplate and allows you to sometimes be intentionally doing other things other than that from during those moments to be able to process this transmutation process, this breaking down and synthesis process, so that you can be able to hear things from soul and from body and from your imagination, as well as be able to hear other beings and other information that your beings want to tell you about things that can help you that can help you text that can help you see the steps that you can take that can thread the needle on that can on doing things for the highest good and for your well-being. So but I don't know, but those things, those very things are the things that are not always going to be comfortable. It doesn't mean they're not pleasant, but they're like not can be just weird and awkward and and a way of eating that you're just not used to. So even if it's good for you, even if you will have fun, it's just you're not gonna have like or the confidence necessary to get to take those steps necessary. So this is like an interesting way to end. Like I am grateful for how the moon cards are out the way they are because it's really give yourself your room because you're not good at it all day long, you know. But but in order to get you gotta be comfortable with that. So that's that, and that includes the card reading portion of it. And we'll just now we get at the end we will start with our checkout and I will read like I wrote a poem about pomegranate trees and the nature of the tree being being for my Patreon page about 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 trees about and I thought this would be an appropriate thing to do. Let me see if I can go on my Patreon page right now. Sorry about that. I haven't thought about reading my own pieces. Or but then I'm trying to develop me. Sorry, folks. Okay, oh, I'm tired already. And it's called Holy Exchange and Emergence. Holy Exchange and Holy Emergence. And so I am writing this, and I'll read this out loud to you to let you get into this. Penetrating and anchoring, expanding and piercing. The pomegranate tree's roots grew into the soil, becoming intimate with the gravity and the earth. With each deepening, the ground softens, breaking open and free. With each softening, more flow of the elements are channeling through. From the sky to the earth, and from the earth to the sky. Ancestors and kin being released to the sky and cosmos. Divinity and infinity being drawn into the earth and the underworld. The very act of this collapses multiple timelines, sourcing possibility in both the world and the universe. In the form of the juicy pomegranate fruits, in the form of the in the form of these juicy red pomegranate fruits, filled with love, pleasure, vitality, and medicine. I'll read it one more time. Penetrate, penetrating and anchoring, expanding and piercing. The pomegranate tree's roots grew into the soil, becoming intimate with the gravity and the earth. With each deepening, the ground softens, breaking open and free. With each softening, more flow of the elements are channeling through. From the sky to the earth, from the earth to the sky. Ancestors and kin being released to the sky and cosmos. Divinity and infinity being drawn into the earth and the underworld. The very act of this exchange collapses multiple timelines, sourcing multiple possibility in both the world and the universe in the form of these juicy red pomegranate fruits, filled with love, pleasure, vitality, and medicine. What speak to me at the moment is is the two lines. Was the two lines ancestor and kin being released to the sky and cosmos, and divinity and infinity being drawn to the earth and the underworld. That really drew me. That's really speaking to me. Um, that line really speaks to me, and I wrote it from this understanding of divine union and from understanding myself as a form of an avatar between the underworld and the celestial cosmic realms, mostly planets and stars, basically, and dark matter and all that shit, as well as the spiritual plane and all that stuff. And I imagined about myself, imagined about how I operate. So I wrote this. I used a pomegranate as an example of it and wrote it. And I felt resonate with the line ancestor and kin being released to the sky and divinity and infinity being drawn to the earth and everything is all light and prism. I mean, photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide supposedly goes into the earth when the tree draws carbon dioxide and then it releases oxygen into the air. And I resonate with that. This is where it's something true to me and my spirit. It may change, but right now it felt true. I mean, it's the energy of life. and not all of it's beautiful, and not all of it is glamorous, and not all of it is depressing, and not all of it is just vitally volatile. But it is just life, just lifing, just reality, just reality. So, and I think we can close that at the end of the Lectio Divina of reading. Um, I wanna like thank y'all being here and listening, and hope you'll come back again, and we'll close out and we'll clap like 3 times. Maybe you'll clap once, clap twice, and clap 3 times. So let's congratulate them being here, and I'm very grateful. But thank you very much, and hope you're well, and have a great start of the week. Like seriously, have a great start of the week. Thank you, and breakfast.